You're alive! When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are? It's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
Alright, I believe this is the perfect point for us to start the intro. Welcome. We are us, and this is something I've been waiting for a little bit, just a little bit. I've only been aware of the actual thing being on Steam and on the way to being available for about a month now, I think. This is the Forgotten City. What was once a conversion mod for, well, I don't think it was a conversion mod. I think it was just an extra quest mod that added an entire underground city to Skyrim for you to explore. Now, some of you may be aware of this. Apparently I was at one point, because I noticed in my mod uploader that I had a Forgotten City ESP or ESM plugin. So I was at least aware of it at some point, but I never actually played it. Now, for those who are just joining us and have never been to this channel before, welcome. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. And so, with that said, I'm not sure what we should choose here. But the first option would apparently make us an archaeologist. Years of studying history give you occasional insights into the ancient world. This would give us a soldier past. You have a military issued firearm, but only 10 bullets. You'll have to use them judiciously since there's no way to get more. Interesting. A fugitive. Your time on the run from authorities has made you quick on your feet, and you're 25% faster when sprinting. Amnesiac. Your recent head trauma has increased your pain threshold, making you 50% harder to take down. Yeah. Out of all of them, I like this the most. Well, having a gun would probably be nice, but 10 bullets? I don't know. So we'll go with... I barely remember anything.
It does look like you took a pretty hard blow to the head. You're just lucky you've been given a second chance. Which is why I feel terrible for what I'm about to say, but I have a favor to ask. There are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped, or injured, or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him? If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
You mind if I ask you some questions first?
Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. What do you want to know?
Who are you?
Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean?
Being an amnesiac, not really. So, you're not even going to tell me your name?
Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
It's not. It's not at all. You want me to help you, but you won't even tell me your name.
All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you saving my life, Karen.
Uh, you're welcome. Always happy to help. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Not really interested in Al. Where are we?
You really don't remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber.
Huh. Now, the question of whether she's tried calling for help. Yeah, that's actually worth asking. Why haven't you tried calling for help?
What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me.
No, I mean like literally calling. Uh, since we have boats, I'm assuming cell phones are a thing at this point, so that's extra suspicious. Karen is suspicious, everyone. Just keep that in mind. But that's all for the questions I have that you're willing to answer, apparently.
Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
Well, if I don't do it, I'm pretty much stuck here sitting with Karen until he does return, which I would imagine he won't. So we'll just basically die here. Alright, I'll do it.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry. Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
Oh, look, a flashlight. A heavy-duty, battery-powered flashlight. I'm sure that'll serve me well inside of ruins belonging to a people who never had batteries, but sure, I'll take it. Oh, I can... Nice. I might have to change the graphics settings if this is all I'm going to get as far as frame rates are concerned. A backpack full of worn hiking clothes and empty food packets. Nothing valuable here, but still it seems strange that Al left it behind. Al's
If you're
nose.
reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise."
Well, this is terribly awkward.
The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place. Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation. Or a warning. Al Worth.
So a warning then, given that he hasn't come back. I'm never a fan of the sound of sliding blades that I cannot see. Mm-hmm. You don't do that. Oh, it's the leg. Ooh. An ancient Roman mosaic depicting a godlike figure turning a man into gold. Yeah, that sounds about fine. A Roman gladiator mid-stride. What could have made a gladiator flee? Oh. Oh, that's what's going on. Nope, nope. Now, you remember the sliding blade sound I was referring to earlier? That's what that is. I actually wish it had been sliding blades. A young Roman woman. Looks like she was begging for her life. Nope. A Roman military commander attempting to scrabble away from something. A Roman legionary in a state of terror. Roman woman who appears to be praying for help that apparently never came. Yeah, no, this is fine.
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, that you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. And here there are only two options. Death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right. And I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now. We'll find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
You sound like a pussy. You don't deserve that beard. A young Roman woman in a state of panic. A Roman man on his knees as if begging his God for mercy. Yeah, that seems perfectly fine. It's not like we have any other options, so we may as well go through. Oh, but at least we still have our flashlight. Handy dandy, trusty rusty. he apparently figured out a way to return. He just couldn't get out of the cave once he did. Or he died with these people. Hey, buddy.
Salve, friend. I'm WeArEuS. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I'm Milas, and I got lost.
Oh, is that right? Well, just make sure you don't get lost in any other sacred places you're not supposed to be. Can't have you disrespecting the gods by accident, can we now? But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
Your laws?
Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule. And the punishment for breaking it's, well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming?
Alright, lead the way.
Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, WeArEuS?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it and her, if I were you. She's... it's not my place to say. Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
Okay. Oh, I thought that was actually...
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... Well, you know, I don't know what happened to her.
She also seems to be in a bad place now as she's standing on the fire.
Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
WeArEuS, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
Alright.
Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the golden rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the golden rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. He's up these stairs.
Okay, before I do, I need to do something about the settings because the constant jitteriness is getting on my nerves. Hopefully that fixes things. Though, from what I'm hearing, apparently not. That's kind of annoying.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
WeArEuS.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains many hundreds of years ago.
Yes, it's very nice, I suppose.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
No.
Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. we've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
Okay, how about we start with something simple, such as what counts as a sin here?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes, or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I don't know a thing about their laws and customs, so this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We don't know. We don't have a whole lot of other information aside from what he just told us. Well, that all makes enough sense.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to remember are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
Well, if they're whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies, or just lies in general, apparently that is not enough to get you all turned to gold. So, at least my initial lie, hopefully, will not have an impact on anything. Hopefully. But I'm wondering about something you said earlier. What did you mean about Prosperia being the one who sent me?
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
You're right. I am from the future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us, of this city?
Every last one of you are gold statues now. Except for you. I don't remember seeing you. But between the jittery low frame rates, I may have missed you. Or you were buried somewhere in this building after it had been turned to rubble. I don't know.
I have imagined it, our downfall, 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
So, what can you tell me about this ritual that basically isekai'd me?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
Human remains in the temple. I don't remember seeing any such thing. I remember pretty much everything I actually saw, and by saw I mean interacted with, on the way here. I don't remember seeing human remains, but apparently I did see them.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
Wait, that doesn't make sense. He said he has to perform the ritual to summon someone to save them in case the worst is about to happen, but he's saying he didn't summon... What? What? No, surely I misunderstood something along the way.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
I imagine why he can't investigate would be because no one actually likes him. But I'll let him tell me himself. So why is it that you can't investigate?
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal.
Makes sense.
As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Makes me think I should try and avoid that. Understood. So, do you have any suspects?
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore?
I can't say that
What's
I have.
needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
Understood. So why can we understand each other? I don't speak Latin.
You mean you couldn't speak Latin before you arrived here? How strange. But the gods are active here, and their temples and shrines hum with power like nowhere else in the Empire. Perhaps when Proserpina brought you here, she planted the seed of Latin in your mind so that you could better serve her.
Cool.
Indeed.
You know what? Even though it says at the bottom there that these questions will be available later, I may as well go ahead and knock this one out since I'm here. So if I can do this, is there anything you can do to help me get back to my own time?
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself.
Right.
Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
Yeah. Alright. That's it for me. I'm satisfied. Create a time paradox because, that doesn't sound dangerous.
Ah, good. So, are you and I count on you to figure out who's about to break the golden rule.
I don't have much choice, so yeah.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
All right.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. It seems like something's not right.
Okay. I'll get right on that. Definitely not a fan of the audio cutting out every other second, it seems. That does not stop being creepy. It really doesn't. Okay, first, I can't stand this. It's really obnoxious. Let me see if I can do something about this. Okay. I've done what I could, but it's not good. As you can hear, we've still got the issue with the audio flickering in and out. I don't know. My computer apparently does not like this game at all. Now, I have no idea what this looks like for you guys. You know, nope. We don't talk to them. We just keep going like we never heard a thing.
Isn't the keeping an eye on things, Horatius?
As always, priestess.
Any news about Scintilla, Navia, or Kabal?
I'm assuming those are the three people that were
No
missing.
sign of any of them, I'm afraid. But we do have a new... strangely dressed. Well, and the accent too.
A traveler from afar?
Seems that way.
Then let's make sure he feels welcome, shall we?
Of course, priestess.
No. Nope, I don't like this either. Give me a second. Okay. I made a slight change, so I'm hoping it performs a little better than it did a moment ago for you guys. This is rough. The audio, the audio issue, I'm not sure I can do anything about. Lucretia?
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient and a dear friend. Yulia. She was a good woman.
What happened?
She was poisoned.
She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall, but there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
And so I've got to keep this information in mind. First off, she was apparently intentionally poisoned, but in a way that didn't break the golden rule. How would you go about doing something like that? We'll have to think about that. So is there anything I can do to help?
Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum foot to toe and scratching his eyes out.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Well, come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
So we're just going to ignore this being here? Yeah, there we go. I thought there was some sentience there. I'm just going to go ahead and slip out. Why are you like this? How can the guy just standing idly be busy? He asked, not wanting an answer to his question.
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Decius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get him first before someone else beats me to it.
Huh.
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Decius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we?
What do you think about the Golden Rule, Decius?
It's
Des-
terrible for
Decius.
inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk.
The magistrate has banned weapons, though.
Oh, well, technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet.
If I get him the bow, I can get the resin for Lucretia, but frankly, I don't want this little weasel to have a weapon. Of course, just the bow itself isn't particularly useful, but crafting arrows isn't all that difficult either, so... I'll see what I can do and we'll figure it out as we go along.
Thank you, friend.
What's your story, Weasel Man?
You mean how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale.
I asked you, didn't I?
All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, open to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing through a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done.
You chose the cart, of course.
Of course I chose the cart. I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber.
Well, I don't imagine he would have taken her with him after that, so,
Naturally, I dived in after it, hoping to salvage my fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank, not far from here, with nothing in the world but a single silver coin.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you, friend. But it turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune, because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you, there must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here.
While he was busy yapping, I had a thought. What if all of the people turned gold that are currently here right now were the previous inhabitants of this place, who, for whatever reason, broke the golden rule? But in that case, why would there be more people here? It's weird and very interesting. So, Weasel Man, who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us? Certainly.
I don't imagine Weasel Man has a way out of here. But I am curious to know if he's got any... Well, I'm curious to know what Weasley ideas he has running through that head of his.
I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking.
Thanks. I'll keep an eye out. Anyway, I need some silphium resin.
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
Yeah, and how in the world would I come up with 1,000 denarii?
That's hardly my concern. But if you get a job, work hard and save your coins, you should be able to afford it within, say, 5 years?
I'm not going to bother asking this question. We already know what's wrong with him. He's a weasel. Well, I don't have that kind of money.
Very well. Perhaps I can interest you in something within your budget?
I don't imagine stealing it would be a good idea. Though I am curious to know if I actually fall within the bounds of the Golden Rule or not. Or if I am, for all intents and purposes, an independent operator and whatever I do would have no impact on the people currently living here. Interesting.
Very well. Another time.
Not if I can help it. I'm not going to be able to get over that. It's just uncomfortable. And I mean, these obviously don't do this. They obviously don't do this for anyone else. These two are brazen. They're actually changing. Ooh, what's this? A list of things Dacius plans to buy once he's escaped. A villa on the Aventine in Rome, a 2-horse chariot seat on the Senate, a 4-horse chariot villa on the Bay of Naples, a 10-horse chariot, and 12 slave girls, pale and plump. He likes them thick, apparently. Good for him. Sculpture of Minerva, the Roman goddess of strategy. Appears to just be a statue. What I'm assuming is a wash basin, and I'm not going to steal the resin, at least not yet. I'll hold off for an emergency, at the very least. I'm really not sure about getting this guy a bow, but I don't imagine he'd actually kill anyone. Weasley people like him wouldn't do it themselves, which means him having a bow. I'm going to leave that there for now. Which means him having a bow would hardly be a danger to anyone else. But of course, just the bow existing would make it a danger to everyone. But then again, there's already someone out here poisoning other people. Being a detective is hard work. I want some water. There was a guy in blue. Maybe he's here?
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think, whatever is in there, it has to be important.
Is that so?
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, So you can just call me Virgil. You arrived on a sad day, friend. What with Julia's death? I wish we could have met under better circumstances.
So, what's your story, Virgil?
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people, that kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Tell me about the temple up on the bluff.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
And considering what was it, Cynthius told us? They've only been here for a few years. So, he probably wouldn't know much about the history. He probably know more about the architecture, but I don't see how that would matter.
Of course.
Hey, do you have any ideas on how to get out of here? You know, building upwards, perhaps?
You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the Golden Rule, but once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway.
What do you mean?
Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in WeArEuS, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
Well, I think that tells me enough about what you think of the Golden Rule. Apparently, there's some graffiti. Why does someone think you're a sinner?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
Oh, is that it?
And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of WeArEuS, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
Okay, go on.
In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
Do you have any idea who's writing the graffiti?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. so I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultists?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
I'll take a look at. I'll try to see what's going on for you.
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
I'll see what I can do. So who are you going to vote for as new magistrate?
Well, WeArEuS is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision.
What the frick is this option? Apparently I have to go with this. There's no way to back out. Well, despite my interest in actually offering, is there anything I can do to change whatever that is supposed to be?
My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking.
Alright, thanks for your time.
Nice to talk to you. I do want to check out some of these notes he said he had been getting. Accusatory note. I know who you are and what you want. Turn away from this path before we all suffer from your sins. There we go. Do you really want to be responsible for the sin that destroys us all? And he's got a chest behind him, and I'm fighting the urge to rummage through it. Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think, whatever is in there, it has to be important.
You see, I have a giant key on this table. The frick is this? Oh. Yeah, I'm not touching that. Of course not. Maybe the statues know. Well, obviously the statues would know who is leaving him the notes. Oh, that one doesn't even have the decency to look down at me.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
Hello there, buddy.
Greetings, I'm WeArEuS. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
I don't see a problem with any of these options. Listen, my bald buddy. You wouldn't believe me, even if I told you.
And now you have me more intrigued than before. But since it appears you do not wish to share, I will wait until we are better friends. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
First, how about you tell me a little about yourself?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
So, how did you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Well, why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and droning in coin, I
As you
decided
do.
to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
So you floated down the Tiber.
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am.
So, to review, that's 2 people that have had a run-in with the Tiber River. 3, if you count ourselves. That's interesting. I don't know what it means yet, but it's interesting.
Anything you like.
So what do you think about the Golden Rule?
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
Why do you say that?
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
Any ideas what we can do about it?
If we are to survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing.
Sounds simple enough.
It does, doesn't it? But it is not enough for us to do this alone. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
Yeah, it happens.
Ah, the voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Frankly, I don't care who any of these people are voting for, but I am more interested in I believe his name was Malleolus? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. I don't imagine that he's the one threatening Virgil. It wouldn't make sense. It'd be sloppy and frankly risky, given that he's set up his shop right next door. So, while I'm not a fan of asking him outright about it, I don't imagine he's involved, much less the culprit.
This is troubling, is it not? I'm afraid I have no idea. It is ridiculous though. Virgil is a fine man. But my young friend Fabia confided in me that she saw someone leaving graffiti on his shop front last night. Perhaps you should ask her about it.
You know what? I think I will.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Collection of dyes. Dyes for coloring clothing. These appear to have been extracted from plants and insects. I'm trying to fight the urge. Even if I don't take what's inside, just opening it may be bad enough.
Greetings and salutations.
Ah, the clothes hadn't rendered in properly before. Nice. Wait. You said there was a woman. Ask Fabia. I think it's Fabia. Ask Fabia who's threatening Virgil. Let's follow this one.
This way.
Help! You have to do something! A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule.
How? I don't have a weapon.
None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the chasm. So now this man's bow is the only one in the city. You'll just have to improvise.
All right. I'll do it.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
know. Maybe we shouldn't meet in there.
We don't have time for this. I have to go.
Sure. Don't mind me, I guess.
The shrine is collapsing.
Please tell me that wasn't Fabia.
Fabia!
Oh, come on.
Oh God, she's dead. Did anyone see that? The whole shrine just collapsed on her. Oh, Fabia, why did you have to go in there? Poor sweet girl. I can't believe she is dead. Fabia, I mean. She walked into that empty shrine, and the next moment she is lying dead under a pile of rubble. The gods are cruel and unjust. She was like a daughter to me. I'm sorry, friend. It's not right for me to lay my burden upon you.
A circular loaf of bread designed to be pulled apart into wedges. It appears to be freely available to anyone who wants it. I'll go ahead and take that. It's not going to do her any favors. Well, crap. Alright, and so that's going to do it for us for today. We will be back tomorrow with another episode, and I believe before that one we may be uploading Skyrim featuring the Vigilant mod. We still have to get that finished. I don't know if we're going to go, once that's done, I don't know if we're going to go straight into the next mod or if I'm just going to focus on this, because as it is, I've got Animus Revenant and another game that's coming out later today that I'd like to start recording as well. Nobody's going to watch that one, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It's something I like, and I want to play it. Nevertheless, I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves and everything you've seen here. Hopefully I can suss out a way to get us some more fluid performance for this game. I don't like the constant audio issues and the low frame rates. It pains me just as much as it does you. That said, there's really not all that much I can do. I can lower the resolution, but it's not fun for me. It looks terrible, frankly. So unless this is available on GeForce Now, I don't really have many other options. It is serviceable where the settings are currently at right now, but not preferable. Still, I'll do what I can. And I'm not looking forward to having to make a thumbnail for this. I have no idea what to do. But that's my problem and not yours. So, with all that said, we will see you next time.